If I could talk to the younger version of myself, I would tell her that you're going to face so much struggle. It's going to be so much pain and so much hurt. At the end of the day, you're going to make it through it. God is going to be there with you every step of the way, even if you don't feel like it. And you're going to be an amazing person. I was born November 29th, 1991. My dad was incarcerated the same day I was born. My dad came home from prison when I was 4, which was thrilling for me, but that shortly came to an end. I noticed my dad was smoking something out of a can. I didn't know exactly what. I just know it was a lighter and a Coke can. So I went home and I told my mom. I was really confused. I didn't understand what exactly was going on. He's always kind of struggled with substance use his whole life. So my mom decided, she was like, we're not going to live like this. And she left him. At the time, I thought it was my fault. I ruined my family. That kind of was like a down spiral. Shortly after that, we moved to Cloney Beach when I was 12, and this was a whole different environment for me. We used to live on 3 acres of land, and now we live where I can walk 5 minutes up the road to hang out with people. So I started hanging out with some people and trying different things. Smoking weed was the first thing that I tried. Really enjoyed that. That was kind of like an escape for me. Kind of mellowed my whole life out. I didn't have to focus on the verbal and physical abuse from my mom. I didn't have to focus on my dad abandoning me and not being around or in and out of jail every 5 seconds. So it was kind of easier to not deal or not cope with it in that way. High school is when I really started to find other substances that worked better for me. Seeing my dad do those things, it just kind of made it seem like it was okay. My first love of my life, I found my senior year in high school. We first started using pills together. This was a whole new world that I've never experienced after using that. It took me to a place where everything just went numb. I was told that it was Molly we were using. And so I tried it and I loved it. And it became a habit for me. Not every day at first, but every other day, or I would reward myself with it. And come to find out 6 months later, it was heroin. It wasn't Molly. And that was so hard because I was already using it on a daily basis at this point. So I was already trapped in this miserable world that I had no idea the door that I had opened and put myself into. I felt so alone. I couldn't tell anybody. What would they think of me if I did? How could I tell them? So I knew that I had to make a change from there. I didn't want to live my life like that anymore. I couldn't live my life like that. I couldn't even look myself in the mirror. I didn't recognize who I was. I reached out to a methadone clinic. I made an appointment and I was like, I'm going. Well, the appointment day comes, I don't go. I was trying to change the path I was on, but I just kept fighting with myself that you're just going to be taking something else. So I stayed out in that world, that environment, in the streets, trying to find my next fix for another month or two, and I finally made another appointment. I didn't have anything but my vehicle. I didn't know if I was going to be right back where I was the day before. If it didn't work, I needed it to work. It had to work. Me and my husband are not together anymore, so he took a different path. So I had to choose myself. I had to save myself in order to even have a life. I couldn't focus on trying to fix, his problems too. I had my own. So I focused on myself. I got on a stable dose. I slowly withdrawed off of it, went into a program and fully detoxed off of it. Trying to find myself through all that was definitely a struggle because I really didn't know who I was without the drugs. I didn't really know what I liked anymore. And it was just trying to find a purpose, really. Where do I go from here? While I was going to the methadone clinic weekly, I would go to the groups and participate and try the different programs that they had or whatever coping mechanisms that they were going to offer me or learn. But it really wasn't enough for me. It did help, but I was seeking something more. I didn't really have the support that I needed from that group. It was like we kind of just went to the groups, kind of check it off the list. And it wasn't the first group that I went to that helped for me, because what works for one person doesn't work for everybody. But I found Zoe, and it was really a saving grace for me because it gave me the support that I needed. And I found that in Zoe. I found a group of women that are amazing. They are completely there. We literally have a group chat where we text every single day. And sometimes I have a bad day and I look down at my phone and I can open that chat and there's gonna be something there for me to read that's inspirational if I can't pull it out of myself. Yeah, I was in recovery, but I didn't feel like I was putting myself first in my recovery. And when I finally found that support, I realized what that felt like. I'm starting to slowly get the pieces back of my life that I was missing and actually being able to enjoy the little things. Just waking up and being able to make a cup of coffee and go out on the porch and look outside and not have to worry about, oh my goodness, what am I going to take today to feel great? I can wake up and get out of bed and feel that way. It's just a great place to finally be at, especially with everything that I went through. So I feel like I have a sense of peace that has come over my life or my world. You know, I just keep pushing forward, spend time with God, focus on all the things that I have done, and that keeps me going. Hi, my name is Melissa, and today I'm living in freedom.